So while I'll be speaking and do some quick slides, my colleague will set up. And in the second half of the presentation, everything I just spoke about will show you live in VR, because that's how it should be done. And then, of course, we'll be happy to take some questions. So we are Somnium Space. We have been in a cross of blockchain and virtual reality since 2017. We are one of the first metaverse projects which tokenized all the assets and decided to use blockchain as the backbone of all user in-game economy. We do it still to date, and we plan to continue doing it. I am in VR for more than 10 years. Somnium Space is not only a social VR platform, metaverse, but it's also a hardware producer. We design and produce our own VR headsets. It's over here. You will see it. We produce them in Czech Republic. Locally, we are the only virtual reality company, hardware company, which produces VR headsets for consumers and businesses and military in the world. There's no more European producers. Everyone else are producing in China. So I'm involved in many companies in virtual reality, several companies in blockchain sphere. So yeah, love both, love virtual reality and the blockchain. Now, why blockchain in VR? Why actually bother using on-chain items in social VR space? Because it does make a big difference. If you compare it to conventional games right now, everything people do in those spaces, whether it's Fortnite or any other game, it's the only trust authority you have is that company. And you have to trust that company 100% of the time. You cannot verify. Sometimes those companies are hiding the true, let's say, cost of the transactions and all the other receipts from you on purpose because they want to charge you more per transaction. And you don't have any transparency. You don't also have any transparency between the users when they try to buy and sell things between each other. So we use blockchain from the very beginning. And the good thing is when people transact inside Somnium in VR, again, you will see that in a bit, they don't need to trust us. They see everything on chain immediately right there. They see how much Somnium takes as the fee. They see who is the receiver of the money if they buy something from another user. They see it immediately, and obviously that other user received the transaction and they see everything at the same time. Now, players can also carry those assets across different marketplaces. We, of course, Somnium has our own internal virtual reality marketplace. It's all on chain, but nobody says and nobody can even decline you to go and sell something on OpenSea. If you bought an avatar in Somnium, or if you bought a car in Somnium, you can just go and sell it on Rarible or OpenSea or whatever marketplace, or you can just send it via, from one wallet to another. And the moment that NFT touches the other user's wallet, he can immediately use that item inside VR. Again, whether it's a car or an avatar or a hat or whatever you imagine. So that makes a big difference for users, for their understanding that actually the items they're buying are not just some virtual objects. They have a real value. They have real interoperability in a sense, because interoperability is a different story, and I'll touch upon this a little bit in a bit. So the sense of real economy is something very important, because you can't have a long-term, any social space, not even social VR, but just any game, any space without real economy, because in the end of the day, without real economy, every game will die one day, sooner or later. It's just the case, because it will, without economy, it's just a gimmick. With economy, it's a real business for some people, for creators, for example. This is my beggars club. I started in Somnium Space, where we lie down in a city center, and we put our tip jars where people can tip directly, both on the blockchain, our utility token, or even dollars with credit cards. And our club has now 5 members. I'm very proud of that. So it's of course a joke, but yeah, we're having fun. Now, the good, the bad, and the ugly about having blockchain integrated inside a Somnium Space game or inside our platform. Now, the good is players have a choice. They can pay with blockchain token, or they can pay with credit card. We, for example, use Stripe for credit card. It's decentralized ledger, it's transparency. Again, they don't need to ask me how much of the fee I take as the platform. They don't even need to trust me. They can just see it by themselves, and it's instant, because we use, for some assets, we use layer 1, Ethereum. For some other assets where the speed of transaction is important and also the cost of transaction, we use Polygon. It's user-controlled value flow. For sure, they have full control from the beginning to the end. They can see our contract. They can validate themselves what's happening. And everything after each transaction, they see, again, you will see it in a bit, they see the receipt of every transaction immediately on-chain. They don't need to trust us. And potential of interoperability, that's a positive and also a kind of negative thing, because on one hand, as I told you, you can take any asset from the game. You can buy a hat and sell it on another platform. You don't need to ask my permission as a CEO of Somnium Space to transfer something. They can transact outside of Somnium Space ecosystem, avoid fees, for example, if they can, and then still use the assets in Somnium Space. Now, what are the negatives of having blockchain inside your game? Normies, they really hate crypto, okay? So below you see this, another crypto scam game. That's a classical X comment. Basically, on almost any post on Twitter we do, there will be one person, most of the time it's like 5 followers or something, they will always write something like that. And on one hand, it's funny, because they literally don't understand the technology. They don't understand why we use the technology. On the other hand, there were a lot of scams in blockchain. In the hype of the blockchain, there was probably, I would say, 90% of the projects, especially the metaverse related, they were just pure scams. People trying to make some trailers and stuff. And of course, people feel bad about it. So overall sentiment, if you have blockchain in your game, many normal players will just hate it outright. They will not try to understand why you use it. They will not listen to all of this, what I just said to you. They will just say like, oh, it's a scam or whatever. It's some crypto bullshit. Sorry, I'm not interested, yeah? So remember that if you want to integrate blockchain. Still do it, it's great, but remember that. Then, of course, we do have some centralized infrastructure dependencies, meaning that while transaction is decentralized, you can transact on any platform, as I said, OpenSea, Rarible, LuxRare. The asset itself, the file for the avatar, is still on our servers. Now, we work hard to make sure that there is some, let's say, backbone where even if Somnium theoretically will go down, that the service can still run, this peer-to-peer can still run. We work towards that. We work towards full decentralization. We truly believe in that. But for now, there are some dependencies on the centralized servers. That's just the state of the technology. Difficult interoperability in practice, again. Trading on different platforms is easy. But if I want to bring the avatar from one platform to another, that's a whole different story, because there are different engines. It can be Unreal, could be Unity, different versions of those engines. Could be Unity 6, could be Unity of the previous versions, and they're not compatible. So in reality, if 2 platforms want to have full interoperability, meaning that if you buy an NFT in Somnium and you want to use it somewhere else in Fortnite, we have to work with Fortnite together to make sure that that works. Otherwise, so far, there's no true interoperability in the sense of transferring the files and assets. And of course, for some people, it's clunky and unfamiliar interface. Now, we have, since we've been doing it for years already, we have polished it to a point where users who don't know that Somnium runs blockchain don't even know in the end that it's blockchain-based in the background. They don't touch it until probably they're several months in the game. That's where they kind of start to understand that there is some background transactions happening. And those who know, they can take full advantage of it. Those who don't know, they can still learn, but they still have to learn a little bit. So that's the downside, but we're still kind of climbing that hill. And speed and scalability issues, I think it's pretty much solved, to be honest. With Polygon, we don't run into much problems, but sometimes when too many people try to transact at the same time, transaction instead of 10 seconds or 5 seconds could take up to a minute. But we never had big issues with that. Now, I'll just quickly tell, we have parcels, we have worlds. The parcels and worlds are on Ethereum mainnet, because these are pretty expensive assets. People pay, $10,000 for a parcel, and they don't transact, they don't change hands so often, so we decided to keep them on layer 1. And worlds as well. And then every other thing, such as an avatar, wearable, you have a hat, you have a gun, you have something else, these are on Polygon, and these are basically transactable instantly. Just, Shoda, are we ready? You're set up? OK, cool. So you will see again how it works, and I will show you some videos. Let me actually check the time. All right. So utility token, we have cube. It's decentralized. We have revoked the cube, so we can't mint anymore. It's all out there, and it's, again, transparently verifiable. People can pay with cube in Somnium, or they can pay with credit cards. We give the freedom of option. Now, this is the wearables. We've developed the whole system where those items, which you can see, the glasses, the hat, everything else, it's all on the blockchain. Those are all NFTs. And you can wear them, instantly transact, change hands, and they change wallets and stuff. So that's just, it's a very unique system. No other game in the world does that the way we do it. And we're very proud of that. So this is full body tracking. Of course, sense of realism, and I'll talk about it in a second. I think, Shoda, you can start VR already. So this is full body tracking, wherever VR headset, trackers, and then all my movements in real life. Okay, I don't do this often, okay? Not every day, but whatever I do in real life immediately transitions to VR, and all other players see me doing that. So that's full body tracking. Now, I do one last thing, camera. Why camera? We have a very advanced camera in VR where you can take some really cool pictures. And why it's important is because, first of all, when you buy a cool hat and it's on blockchain, you own it, you know it's yours. It already adds to sense of realism for you because you own it. But when you can make a fantastic picture of it with a bokeh effect and really cool picture, then you can share it, and it's even it enhances the realism even more. And it's a very tiny signals which are bringing your brain the ability to kind of comprehend that and understand that. So camera is very important. We spend thousands of hours developing just camera in Somnium Space, the VR camera. It's like a handheld thing. You just hold it like this. There's drones. I mean, it's crazy. This is what you can do with camera. On the right side, the matrix. On the left side, it's the recreation of the shot inside Somnium. You have drones. In the background, you see those buildings and water and things. These are the parcels on the blockchain. Everything is on the blockchain there. And that is the end of the boring slides. And now we'll try to go to the real presentation of VR. And I'll be commenting while Shoda will be doing it. Let me comment. So let me connect it to the HDMI. All right. Are you receiving our signal from HDMI? You should be. OK. Can you see it, or is it too bright for you? Can you see what's on the screen? Yes? OK. Yeah. Whatever, Artur. Who cares, right? No, OK. So let me go here. And Shoda will be showing you something in real time. So he's now in the city center. There are some other players as well. It's pretty dim. But yeah. You see, whatever he's doing, obviously, it translates into VR. Shoda, can you open the tablet and show the camera? OK, so he's now using the camera. That's what yeah. Can you show your own view on your own avatar? Yeah, so it's his hands. So let's go and transact, Shoda. Maybe go to the store and buy some item on blockchain right away. OK, there's some other users. This is the city center where everybody appears, so there's obviously some other users. And now he's going to the store, where whenever someone creates a new item in Somnium, they upload it through SDK, they mint it immediately, and it appears there. And now he will buy something. So what it will be, Shoda? What are you spending your money on today? And what you will see, hopefully everything works well. Okay, how much is it? Okay, so there's some cubes involved. Don't look at pin. Don't look at his pin. Okay, so now the transaction started. Now we'll see how fast the transaction, maybe there are some other transactions running in the background, but just look back. So once the transaction finishes and the item flies into his inventory, we have a very cool animation there. The computer will immediately open the browser and show you the receipt on chain, the Polygon receipt. And we do it on purpose so that users, when they do this session for like a couple of hours, they buy several things, they can close VR later and just go through receipts and see what they purchased. Okay, you can see now it loaded. I'm not sure, yeah. So now you see the transaction happened and he bought this. He see from whom to whom, what's the fee and stuff like that. I'll minimize that. We just wanted to show you that that's how it works. Shota, can you show the some wearables? Can you put some wearables on top of your avatar? So now he has the wearables. Everything you just see load in this tablet. Everything is NFT. Whatever he's wearing on himself, his avatar, his hat, whatever he just bought, all are NFTs. But they're very, let's say, smartly hidden from users. As I said, if you don't know what NFT is and you want to use VR, you can. You don't need to know it. But if you know, you can actually take advantage of it. So now he's placing the item on his avatar. Again, this is the system we developed. And he's now placing whatever, the beard, on his avatar. And now he will just click exit astral mode. And he'll turn the camera on to see the selfie. Yeah, okay. So that's what he just bought, and this is the item, and he's wearing it already. Now all the other users are seeing it as well. So that's that. How much time do I have? 5 minutes, right? 10 minutes? Okay, perfect. So we have a lot of time. So Shota, you can go to some of the parcels or do whatever you want, Shota. I will be commenting. So for example, there is a car standing in the city center. That's also an NFT, a very expensive NFT. I think I bought one. Of course, it was in a height of the NFT market. I think I bought a car for like 6,000 euros. I own, but it's a collaboration. Those cars are collaboration of an artist and the 3D modeler. They worked on it for probably on one car like 70, 80 hours, and they model it. And the paint job of the car is the art piece, a unique art piece. So it kind of combines both worlds. That's why it's collectible. But it drives nicely as well in VR. Okay, so here's the tip jar. He is receiving now 1 cube tip in real time. That's what you just saw is a transaction on-chain. Everything you see in VR happening in real time is on-chain transaction. And now he's tipping $1. How much are you tipping? $1, okay, $1. Now he's doing the credit card because his credit card is connected to his Somnium account. So if he hates blockchain, he can do it on credit card. If someone wants to tip cubes, and the classical example, which happens several times per week in Somnium, we have event, let's say the DJ rave event, it's a disco, and the DJ always put the tip jar in front, and they have their wallet connected to the tip jar and have their credit card connected to the tip jar. And during their rave, let's say, presentation, rave set, people who are dancing in the club, they're tipping. And you can clearly see that some are tipping cubes, some are tipping dollars, because in some countries, for example, Stripe is not available, even though it's available almost in any country in the world, but some countries are not allowed that. And blockchain, as we know, you can't stop blockchain from working. So those people are using blockchain to tip the DJ. And that's just a beautiful thing to see, because anywhere from Brazil to Japan to Australia, Russia, whatever, United States, they can transact in the system and be part of one, let's say, society, digital society. And that's, of course, what we are trying to build. So no matter what country you are in, you can do that. And again, why I'm saying all of this is because blockchain makes everything more real. That's the, let's say, my title of my presentation. Because if you just do something on a company's servers and you don't have a receipt, you don't own anything, that company could just, and there are companies who are doing that, by the way, in this space. They can just delete your item and say, you never owned it, sorry. It's your problem. Sometimes it's a technical glitch, or sometimes it's a malicious attempt by the company just to, you did something against terms and conditions. I used to play Ultima Online when I was younger, and okay, I didn't hear any woos, so I'm very, okay, great, I'm very old. But Ultima Online was a great game. I spent probably 5 years playing that game. It's kind of like World of Warcraft, right? And I had everything, houses and everything. And then one day, the company decided to wipe all the servers. And they just wiped all the servers. And all my thousands of hours I played that game are gone, literally gone. And that taught me a lesson, and that's why we are trying to do not only that, but this is one of the reasons. So now, Shota, can you look at beyond the water? So everything you see around is built by users on the parcels, which are also NFTs. And some of the parcels you see they're next to the water. They're waterfront parcels. They were more expensive. Some are less expensive. The real economy is happening. And again, without the blockchain, it would be way more meaningless for those people, and they would not have been attached to what they own because they would not have any receipts. They have no control over the items. So, yeah, I think if you have any questions, please raise your hand. I'm happy.
Thank you, Artur, for the presentation. How would you... Do you have any issues with cheaters in your space? I mean, I guess there's no reason for that, but where I'm aiming at is I own a lot of digital items in Counter-Strike, and I think it's a paradox, but I think that the ability of Valve to delete those items and have a full control is actually what gives those items a value. Because those items are flexed because they are a deposit.
I promise I didn't pay him to ask this question, but it's a perfect question. So Valve and Counter-Strike. Recently, Valve did a pretty big cleanup of these items, and the whole market of those items collapsed. By the way, I don't like that skin thing because it basically is a gateway of gambling for kids. It's a huge problem, and I don't approve that. Somnium Space is, first of all, 18+ platform with a mandatory age verification on registration. We did that from, it's a very conscious decision because kids and adults should not mingle in one space, especially when a hyper-realistic spaces like VR. So Valve, for example, wiped a lot of items, changed the economy, and suddenly you were holding items which were virtually placed at a value of $5,000, and overnight it became $1,000. You had zero control over it. You can't even, you can't instruct anything. You can't do nothing with that. And yes, one thing is Valve is backboning this. Valve is a reputable company. It's a good company. But what if they change their mind? You have no idea where to take those items. Those could be gone tomorrow, and you would have no control over it. In our case, as I told you, half of that is solved. We can't take items from your wallet anymore. It's impossible. Even if I hate you as a user, even if I ban you in Somnium Space, you receive the full ban, you did something against terms and conditions, you can still go and sell all your items on any other marketplace and say, buy Artur, but I redeemed my value. And some users did. Some users left Somnium, they didn't like Somnium, or they got tired of it. They had some parcels and they just sold it for $5,000, $10,000. They redeemed their money and they're just gone. They didn't lose their value. So Valve is a perfect example. They just changed their mind, and overnight the market collapsed of those skins. And it could happen again, and tomorrow it could be gone, all of it, because somewhere someone decides that Gabe will decide that it's not good anymore, and he wants to get rid of it. Any other question? Thank you very much for the question. Last question. No questions. Great. So thank you very much. Remember, oh, there is a question. There is a question. I can run to you. I do it for you.
So I understand you can easily track the ownership of the items, but like the functionality of itself, if you do some rebalancing or you decide, oh, we won't support this item in the future, how can basically holders fight against it? Do you have some DAO or like something they can make sure those changes doesn't happen?
Great question, thank you very much. We don't control how many of what people upload through Somnium. Uploading through our SDK and creating items is free. They can create like the beard he bought on Fosit's avatar. It's probably like, I don't know, edition 1 of 10 or something, but a creator can create 1,000 of those beards. And by doing that, because when you're buying it, you can see it's, you know, edition 1 out of 1 or 1 out of 1,000. If he does 1,000 hats or 1,000 beards, the value will just go down by itself. So we don't control anything. We give the tools to creators, and those creators create items by themselves, and they decide, the free market decides how much value people assign to those things. We don't even, like, the land is given. It was given in the beginning. There's only 5,000 parcels, but the worlds are unlimited. So think about land as like a Monaco of VR. It's limited, but everything else is unlimited, and people can build as much things as they want, and they control the economy by themselves. We just give them the tools. All right, thank you, Shoda. Beautiful VR presentation, a little bit dim, but still good. Thank you very much, everyone, for your attention, and if you have any questions, come to me later. Bye-bye.